Yes, people, how are we all? What a day yesterday was. Seeing Leeds United just play some proper good football, both defensively, in the attack, transition, just some good football from back to front, some proper stuff, some amazing individual performances. What a day. 3-0 bastering of Watford. Wow. Let's get into the play reviews and the match analysis right now. Let's go. First, give a shout out to goalkeeper Ilan Meslier. Another one of them games where he's had a quiet game and he's not had a lot to do. But the one real moment he had to at the end to conserve that clean sheet, and he comes up with a top save. But not one he's had to go across the goal, but it's across the body, high up, gets it over the bar, excellent save, did what he was required to do. And the distribution is getting much better. The understanding of the team and the triggers of when to pass the ball, where to pass the ball, is getting much better. It really is. And I was at the ground, and there's a thing that when he has the ball, and if he don't pass the ball within 3 seconds, the crowd gets really angry. Shout out to the crowd, it was amazing as usual. But like, guys, chill out. That's how we play. Ilan's not going to give the ball to anyone. It's going to be the right option. If the right option doesn't appear itself, he'll put it into the corners. That's how we do it. That's how we play. We just got to get used to it. It takes a while. We have to be patient with the defenders at time because it's hard to break down when teams are not letting you through. You have to go around. You have to find gaps. You have to work, kind of off the mark. You have to be like, right, what do we have to adapt? And we did that. And it took patience and time, but we did it eventually. And it led to, there's gaps. It led to creating chances. It led to a lot of good things. 7 out of 10. Fullbacks, Jack 6.5, and actually looking at the ratings, this is the lowest, but this isn't by not by any means saying Shaq was a worse player because there was no worse player, right? No player played bad in this game. Just purely the fact that he just did the basics well, and and in terms of building up, he built up very simple movements that were very effective though. With the winger, a good connection on that right with Dan James. Good connection up there. 1v1 didn't have much. Sam Byram had more of the 1v1s. But Shackleton was solid at right back. He came in, did a solid job, attacked when he needed to, defend when he needed to. Top job, 6.5 for Shaq. Excellent performance from him again. Sam Byram, man. Let's read that. Almost unbeatable at 1v1s. Genuinely right. I can't remember off the top of my head a 1v1 this season where he's been beat. But that 1v1 defending it for any fullback is vital because regardless of how much you attack and what your role is, a lot of points or 3 or 4 points in the game, you will be required to 1v1 defend the winger. And then that's where you're tested. You might be going forward, but how can you deal with those situations? Sam Byram deals with them perfectly every time. Doesn't get beat 1v1. He's so good at that. So good indeed. And just the balance this guy brings to the team. I'm going to do a video on him soon when I've got time because this guy is ridiculous. This might be the underrated player of the season. Genuinely. Sam Byram, when he's played, it's just been excellent. And he's just getting better. He really is. He's been excellent. 7.5 Sam Byram. Good fullbacks again. Centre-back pairing. Everyone was losing their minds and I was worried that we didn't have Rodon. Not necessarily the replacement, but more the fact that Rodon wasn't playing. It did worry me because we don't know what to expect without Rodon since the first game of the season. It was fairly solid, but having that guy in the team that was so important, how would we deal with that? Now, Rodon wasn't as needed in this game because they actually didn't do a lot of balls in behind it at Watford with the big guy they had up top. They didn't have a lot of that recovery to do. The headers, them two can win headers for every day of the week. Everything they kind of did was in front of us. They didn't really try to do that early one over the top. So Rodon wasn't necessarily needed that much. So if a guy's going to miss a game, who's a lot of his good play compared to these guys is the recovery speed he has and that running behind and that covering. This is the game to miss him. And Liam Cooper came in and everyone was freaking out. But he came in and did what I said he did. He put in a performance. He put in a steady, solid performance like the captain. And he did. Him and Pascal Struijk were brilliant together. That's what I put there. He looked composed with Rodon last week, but this week he looked composed with Cooper. Pascal Struijk is just growing again into this player that we had under Marcelo Bielsa, who was just solid, solid, solid. No matter where you put him, and he's gaining real confidence in possession side teams, and it's almost like that's the way these players were ingrained to play for 3 years. But now we're seeing it again under another possession, different style, but another possession style side where you're required to be fit as well. And these two were really good yesterday. And Pascal is going from strength to strength. I'm really impressed with him. He's undroppable at this point. He really is. And Ronan will come back in, I'm sure about it. But Liam Cooper is there on the bench if we need him. He's shown yesterday, that he can be that guy. He has that role locked down. If he needs to come in and put in a captain's performance with the other centre-back, he'll do it. And he did. Solid. Both solid, but Pascal was just so sweet. He's so sweet. What a player. The midfield. Every week, I'm impressed with the midfield for different reasons. And let's talk about Kamara real quick. The guy came in, having only played, 15 minutes at most in the previous games. The guy came in and just did everything he needed right. I think he had a 92% pass accuracy, something like forward 5 progressive passes and stuff like that. Just came in and linked the play up, calmed the play down, played the simple passes. They were effective and solid, like I said. Recovery runs were good. Defensively work was good. Positional play was good. And it's one of them games where you don't really remember him. So I'm not going to give him a 6 because of that. Because actually that's a good thing, because you don't remember him because of the other players on the pitch that were just doing crazy stuff. But what he did, when you actually watch it back, was a lot of the effective stuff that built the play, that maintained possession, that kept us progressing. That was him. Mara was brilliant. And let's just talk about Ampadu real quick. I'm not going to talk about him each week because what's the point? He just did the same things. It's the same comment under his name. That's what he does every week. He just does Ampadu things. What can't he do? He even had a decent shot that nearly went in. Good save. He can do that now. He's watched the criticism. He's been practicing. I had Leeds fans arguing with me that he's not the best central midfielder, or not even in the conversation of the top 3 central midfielders in the Championship. What on earth are you smoking? This guy can do literally everything. He can do any role in that midfield. 6 or the 8, give him it. Do it. Ball player, the breaker-upper, is that a word? I made it. Recovery runs, defensive work, link-up play. He does it all. He's the best central midfielder in the league, and it's not even close. And what an asset to have at Leeds United. What an asset. And at Kamara, players like that, conversations, and good competition to have with a young lad in Archie Gray. Good competition for Archie. This will push him, and this will keep Archie, again, knowing there's not that pressure on him to have to perform every week, but knowing, if he's not getting in the side, it's not because of lack of form, it's because these two are brilliant pros, and that's a level that Archie will want to reach. And he's already there in some certain instances, but give him time. He's a young lad, and he can just fit in and come in and do a job and be absolutely excellent in the Championship whenever he's needed. Of course he can. But the depth we have in that central position now is brilliant. With Gurev as well, who's going to take time, obviously, but will find a role in this side. Really impressive. These two dominated the game. Pivotal. These two were pivotal in the game yesterday. Excellent subs from Farke in terms of bringing Kamara in, giving Archie Gray a rest. Because Kamara was brilliant. Grew into the game massively and so confident on the ball. Simple, quick, hard passes into people. The movement. Top players. 8.5 and 8. Solid. Controversial one now. And we'll talk about it. Alright, we'll talk about it. Daniel James, right. I'm a winger. Or I was a winger. That's one of my positions I played. Probably the most I played there. And there's a lot of conversation about Daniel James' ability. And what I'll tell you from at the stadium, this is not an opinion, this is what at the stadium was like yesterday when I was there. There was a lot of frustration with Daniel James. There was. In that first half, got in excellent positions, which is always good in Daniel James' play. He's always a danger. Just because of the positions and the areas he gets in on the pitch. He's a danger. He always is. And that's a good part of his game. But it did slow down and break down quite often when he got on the ball. The pass was often wrong. The final decision was not good a lot of the time. And there was a lot of groans near the end of the half when he was getting on the ball. But what we saw from Daniel James in that second half was more of a player more reliant in the latter end of the game. So we didn't want him in the build-up, and that was the problem again. Once he gets that ball in the final third and he's got a simple task, a 1v1 the defender, beat the defender, whip it in. Because I know some of his crosses are dodgy, but every now and again, he puts in an excellent cross. He's got 4 assists this season, which is the joint top in the Championship. Like, off Leeds, I think it's Championship. 4 assists. He's getting the assists, and this is what the confliction is, because for all the times the attack did break down and he did choose the wrong options or the final product wasn't there, the effect he had on the game was 2 more assists from a corner, which was a great corner, by the way, and an excellent cross. And this is the frustration with Dan James, because he clearly got those in his locker, but they've never been able to get a consistent output from Dan James. That's the problem. But as a manager, you're watching that going, yeah, but in the second half, this guy gave us 2 more assists of the 3 goals we scored. And that's where he's effective. Regardless of frustrations of Dan James, he is effective because he has the attributes to be effective. They're just not consistent enough. Again, 2 assists in a game. What can we say about Dan James? There's a lot of discussion there. There is. Because people were frustrated, and that's just what I heard around me. He's got 2 assists in the game, and he's effective the game massively. It's what it is, mate. Crysencio Summerville, vital part of Leeds United attack. And this is my task to Crysencio Summerville now. Convert these outstanding movements and outstanding positions and the dribbling he's got. Convert all those attributes, the stuff he does in a game, and the intensity in which he attacks. Convert that into end product. Convert that into goals and assists. Like the opposite of Dan James, you think about it. Dan James isn't necessarily the constant threat of the defenders in terms of finding these excellent positions, taking them on, winning, drawing fouls like Crysencio Summerville. But Dan James will pop up. He'll do a run. He'll get a ball in the box and he'll finish. It's the opposite of Crysencio Summerville. He's a consistent, consistent runner with the ball. Gets in excellent positions, does good stuff with the ball every time, taking players on for fun, endlessly. But it's just that little bit, that final shot. He had another big chance to score. He had a shot at the edge of the box, went straight to the keeper. It's just those little bits for Cry. But in terms of impact on games, which is different to Dan James, his impact is more of a whole impact, where it's a sense that more consistent throughout the game. And you just need Dan James's output in terms of assists and goals. Because Crysencio Summerville is an excellent footballer, and he's always a vital part of the attack. You watch most attacks when he's on the pitch, everything goes through him at some stage. But having said that, yesterday, again, he was brilliant on the ball. He was dribble with it. He created a lot of chances. It's just about that final bit. What a player to have, and what a player Daniel Farke has there to really learn and develop, find the best. Because once he hits that peak, and he's not even there yet, and he's playing well. He's not even there yet. Once he hits that peak of this season, what a player we'll have. He already is, but even better. Yeah, 7.5 and an 8. We'll talk about that man over there in a minute. Talk Joe Piroe. Joe Piroe was better yesterday, he was. And I think we know now Joe Piroe's attributes. He's not quick. He's not the most mobile player. But what Joe Piroe, and he's often quite slow on the ball at times, but what Joe Piroe does, he's really good at picking up little areas. And what he does then, when he turns with the ball, I like his passing. His passing's quick and direct. And then his moves again. His off-the-ball movement is really good, and that's why he's adopted more to the 10 in this system, because Georginio Rutter is the other guy in the other position who can do everything that Joe Piroe can't, that might be required for the 9, the role of the 9 in a Daniel Farke system. Joe Piroe's doing well, and do you know what Joe Piroe's doing? And he's scoring goals. That's what he's required to do. He's got 4 now. Is it 4 or 5? 4, I think. He's doing what he's there to do. 4 goals in 5 games. That's his job. Or 6 games. That's his job. And he's doing it. There's no conversation about he's a 9 or a 10. I don't care, because it's about the role of the player in this side. And the role of Joe Piroe is to score goals and create attacks. And he's doing that. And we just need it consistency now. We need to do it under different situations in games. Because this guy will be in the right position at the right time. Almost all the time. 7 out of 10. very solid performance from Joel Piroe. Now let's talk about him. This guy right over here. I just put unplayable. I think that's the second time I put that this season. And shout out to you lot on Twitter saying I'm happy. Boy, you can't believe how happy I was with this guy yesterday. Sat at the stadium watching him do the things he did. Genuinely was mind-blowing. The crowd absolutely loved him. Every time he got the ball, the crowd just stood up, or you could feel it in the crowd. They were waiting, what are you going to do now, Georginio? And it was a rough start to the game. I'm not going to deny that. Where he missed an early chance. One or two passes weren't quite there. But what he did was the confidence gain because the crowd was behind him. They understood it. They really backed him. He really grew into the game. And what you could see was a confidence. He's trying these little tricks and they're coming off now, which they wouldn't have done last year or even at the start of the season. And what he's developing in is to a player that can quite literally do anything in the attack. Unpredictable, free, direct. This guy, as I said it, this guy's ceiling for me is much higher than anyone else in this team. Bar Archie Gray. He's too young to really talk about that. Genuinely, I fully believe that. We have high ceilings in this team. Crysencio Summerville has a high ceiling. Nonto has a very high ceiling. Ampadu potentially has even higher ceiling than he's got now. There is high ceilings in this side. This guy's talent is above them for me. This guy can genuinely destroy this league. And he destroyed Watford. Absolutely obliterated them. In that second half, he was totally unplayable, untouchable. They genuinely couldn't get close to him. The flicks, the confidence, the movement, the dribbling, the passes, the weight of his passes, that goal to Anthony. The whole demeanour of this guy now is completely different. And wow. I was genuinely blown away watching him. And the reason it's not more than a 9, and I know people are asking, is because he did miss a big chance. And he had to score that realistically, you know. He didn't in the end, obviously, but that would have helped. He scores that, the floodgates open early. We can double what the score was. And it was quite an easy chance. After that moment, he grew into the game slowly. And if he'd have scored that, and he had an iffy first 20 minutes. If he didn't have an iffy 20 minutes, it's a 10. That second half was a 10. Genuinely one of the best individual performances I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years at Leeds United. I've seen. Second to probably some of Rafinha's games because that guy was a joke. This guy was ridiculous. And there's a lot of people talking about Daniel Farke's comments about not taking the mick out of the opponents. So what he's trying to do there is just trying to humble him. Because you don't want him to get carried away with this. You don't want him to try silly things all the time in certain areas of the pitch where it's not effective or pragmatic for the side, right? It's good to do in certain moments of the pitch, but don't do it all the time because you will lose it and it will lead to goals at times. That will happen. But it's about choosing the moments you do these things. Other times, just play the simple pass and run. That's what he's saying. He's just trying to keep him humble. He doesn't want him to do these things, forget about the core principles and roles of the side, which is his hard work as well. And that's what Daniel Farke was saying. He's not telling him not to do it. Just make sure you do it. If you do it, don't forget the core principles that I need you to do as a striker in this side. The in behind running, the dropping back, the defensive work, the picking up positions. Don't forget that stuff. This guy is a joke. That's all I'm going to say. I prefer not to speak. Yeah. Right. The subs. Anthony came on. Totally changed the game. We needed him at that point. We needed a bit of energy coming on, and he brought it. Last 15 minutes, brought the energy. Some excellent off the ball positions. I mentioned it in my video about him. His movement off the ball is brilliant. He's really good at finding pockets. Direct when he gets the ball as well. Good cold finish in the corner. He had one earlier that got saved. Not missing that one. Excellent finish. Great first goal for him. Great start to his career at Leeds United. And I said he's going to impact this season. He's going to have a big impact on this season. And this is the start of it. Archie Gray came on. Obviously not long. Found some good areas, some good spaces in the 10. You know, some decent link-up play on the right side with Piroe when he came on as well. Decent performance. Could have had assist, but I think he was just offside. Yeah, did well when he came on. Good to see him coming on and impacting games. You know, not knowing he has to play 90 minutes every week and he can actually come on and have a bit of fun. Yeah, good to see. And these guys, look, Ailing and who have just got 2 minutes. Nothing much to really report on them. Fede came on and again, draw fouls, kept the ball, did what he meant to do, to come on, draw some fouls, slow the game down, maintain the ball. He did that. Solid performance in terms of what he needed to do. Can't complain. The manager, Daniel Farke. I want to talk about this guy. That touch, by the way. Very good. The stadium erupted when that went. What a touch. And he knew it as well. He had his hands in his pockets. That's me, yeah. What a guy. Made changes and they worked. That's what he's paid for. To make these difficult decisions. Make the decisions to drop players that are playing really well. Archie Gray. Playing really well. Made the difference. Brought the player on. Kamara, who was excellent. It worked. Tactically, it worked. It did not change us. It did not ruin the balance. We were so progressive still. And really effective, and I really enjoyed watching the team. And that's what I love about football. People can talk about, look, I know certain fans from other clubs are enjoying winning every game. And I genuinely believe this. I love watching things and memories. And I will have memories from these. I'll have memories of Georginio Rutter's performance. I don't want to watch boring football where it's a 1-0 every week. I want to see a team having fun. Because I just enjoy that. The players I grew up on that I absolutely adored did that. Ronaldinho, one of my first idols. I used to love watching Ronaldinho play. Genuinely, like, those styles of football, Pep at Barcelona, watching them play. Teams like that, those real teams that just made things look fun. They made football look fun. Bielsa's Leeds, you know what I'm saying. Those type of teams, that Spain side, they just made football look fun. It was entertaining. It was good to watch. And that's what Daniel Farke has given us. There's times where we have to be patient, and that's fine because I like seeing possession of football. I like seeing us keep the ball. We look so confident at the back and keeping the ball. It's brilliant. But then when we explode, we go with fun, passion, desire, freedom. And we're unstoppable when we go. And that's down to the manager. Down to the manager allowing the players to do that. It's down to the manager finding the mentality within the players to do that. And I just really like what Daniel Farke's doing with Leeds United. A long way to go in this season. There is. We look good. We look good. Watford's record before they played us wasn't bad. I know they were terrible, but best believe they're not a bad team in this league, people. They're not. They are not a bad team in this league. We are just very good when we're on it. Very good indeed. Look. Here's to more. Because I'm enjoying watching my football team again. Genuinely at the stadium, I had vibes of previous seasons when I was watching. I loved it. All the time. Let me know what you guys think. Excellent performance. Let's keep up this energy. Let's keep up this winning mentality now. The real task now is to get 2 wins in a row because we've not done that yet this season. That's the real task. That's what's next for Leeds. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What a day. Again, appreciate the support. The comments, I will do with them. I'm just, honestly, I'll do it tonight. I'm so busy this week with uni and everything. No time. Hence the lack of uploads. But yeah, shout out to you a lot. Appreciate the support.